Hi, my name is Melanie Ponce, and today I will be answering the question, how does Breath of the Wild create a safe space for the players through its fantasy storytelling and immersive world? All right, today I will be discussing what is Breath of the Wild, its context in society, how gender and identity is important in the video game, and its impact on its players. All right, so we will be talking about what is Breath of the Wild. In order to answer what is Breath of the Wild, we also have to answer what is The Legend of Zelda. So, The Legend of Zelda is a Nintendo video game that was released in 1986 that usually consists of three characters: Link, Zelda, and some form of Ganon. Link is the main protagonist who usually saves Zelda from some form of Ganon, whether he's a beast, a human, or some sort of spirit. And each character holds the Triforce, which is the main power in the lore of Legend of Zelda. So, Link holds the Triforce of Courage, Zelda holds the Triforce of Wisdom, and Ganon holds the Triforce of Power. And so, what is Breath of the Wild? Breath of the Wild is Calamity Ganon, which you see in the picture surrounding the Hyrule Castle, taking over and destroying Hyrule, the kingdom, and Zelda holds him back until Link wakes up 100 years later and has a journey to wake up the divine beast in order to save Zelda. So we will be analyzing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in the context of American society. So usually in America, we see heroes that are seen as patriotic, masculine, and invincible. Just think of Superman. He is the prime example of the typical American hero. However, Link, he is the complete opposite of those standards. He is young, he's around 16 years old, he's scrawny, he's always hurt, and he's saved by Zelda, a woman. These go completely against the American societal expectations of a hero. Zelda also defies the American standards of a woman in a um, video game setting. Usually in video games in America, we have the damsel in distress trope that is seen in American media everywhere. Usually in Disney, such as Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, you name it. But Zelda, she's the complete opposite. She is not a dumb blonde. She's fascinated by the technology, so much so that she gets held back from her duty of awakening her powers. She is also the hero of the story, not just Link. She is the one that uses her powers to get rid of Calamity Ganon in order to save her kingdom. Some of these tropes that go against the American standards have to do with Nintendo being a Japanese company. In Japan, they usually have the magical girl trope, in which a young adolescent girl transforms in order to defeat the bad guy, such as like Sailor Moon, who transforms and defeats all the evil forces. Even though she's such a crybaby. Um, it also shows how prettiness does not equal weakness. Zelda, she seems like a very um quiet adolescent girl, but in reality, she is very powerful and um has a duty to save her kingdom, and that's her end goal. Also, young girls are seen as vulnerable in American society, but Zelda defies these odds by actually saving the man of the story and at the end saving her kingdom. Um, this can also be seen in America, where we have changed our standards of seeing young adolescent girls as weak in shows such as the Powerpuff Girls. So now we'll be talking about gender and sexuality in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So, like I said, the damsel in distress trope is kind of shown here, as Link does have to go and save Zelda, but she is the one that at the end she uses her powers to get rid of the antagonist of the game. Um, Also, we see in other games Zelda defying the odds of the adolescent weak girl in her game. She at one point in one of the other games in Ocarina of Time, she uses the disguise of being a ninja called Sheik and going by he him in order to bypass um Ganon, and even tells Link his and even tells Link what his journey is and how to save Zelda, even though she's the one giving him the instructions. Also, there are races in Hyrule that defy the odds of gender and sexuality in American society, such as the Gerudo. The Gerudo only consists of women, and every 100 years there is a male born. And actually, the male that is only mentioned in the lore of Legend of Zelda being Gerudo is Ganondorf. And so, as we see, the developers of The Legend of Zelda um really said that men suck. Um Also, Urbosa, she is seen as a mother and protector to Zelda. Zelda lost her mom at an early age, so Urbosa became that motherly figure, but also is still a badass and tries to save Hyrule with her fierce warrior skills. Also, cross-dressing is not shamed upon in The Legend of Zelda. There's a lot of cross-dressing, like I said, with Sheik. But also there is a moment in Breath of the Wild where Link has to sneak into Gerudo, in which all men are banned, and has to cross-dress. And here's a little clip of that. So now we see that queerness is also alluded in Breath of the Wild. A lot of the characters have queer characteristics, such as we see here on the bottom left. Bolson, he is the construction owner of Bolson Construction, and has very feminine features and has very feminine characteristics. Um, he was designed to be a very masculine, usually like the stereotypical construction guy, but they decided to change him to have a more feminine experience. And um, many fans have speculated him to be gay, queer, and part of the LGBTQ community. Um, and since many characters have queerness alluded to them, such as Sidon, in which he constantly praises Link, and on the right side of the screen says, "Oh, and I mentioned how incredible you are and how thankful I am." Many people has shipped them. In the top right, you can see that there is a fan fiction between Link and Sidon. Um, Many people have headcanons about him and try to ship them too. But unfortunately, in the new game, as I'm currently playing, Sidon actually has a fiance, and so many fans are crushed by this. Um, Also, a lot of people have questioned if Link is transgender because in many games he is gender neutral. Even though in Breath of the Wild he's established as male, he also has feminine characteristics. He is actually shorter than Zelda, and he has a very soft face and is very scrawny. Someone might call him uh either gender fluid or transgender. All right, identity is a very important role, has a very important role in Breath of the Wild. Link loses his identity. He has to find his identity through his memories, and he has to start from square one. Um, as we play in the game, we get to see how Link is one of the top of his class in the Knights, and he is assigned personally by the king in order to protect Zelda. Um, so Zelda is very jealous by Link because he has fulfilled his destiny of being the perfect knight since his father was one as well. Um, Zelda, she has to find her purpose in the video game. She has a lot of pressure from her father in order to awaken her powers, but she is distracted by her fascination by the Sheikah technology that is prominent in The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. She also um struggles a lot to try to awaken these powers and tries to pray for them to come, but she ultimately fails and awakens them at last minute, and Calamity Ganon takes over Hyrule. This is very important because a lot of fans try to identify with these characters, and seeing them fail and try to get up again really resonates with the fans and tries to and gives them hope of trying to find their true identity and the importance of what that is. The impact of Breath of the Wild. So a lot of fans have really been impacted by the story of Breath of the Wild. It has allowed them to be part of the game and has allowed them to see themselves between the lines of the story that is told. Even though the developers said that Link is not canonically gay, he is odd. He they see themselves in Link and in Sidon and in Urbosa, in any of the characters. Um, they want to have representation in the game, and they get to create that because since Breath of the Wild is such a big game, it allows them to create these spaces in order to feel safe. It also has changed the way that women are portrayed in video games. Zelda, and beforehand, she was just a damsel in distress. Link just had to save her from Ganon, but in this one, she has struggles. She has to find herself. She has to um be courageous. She is a very well-rounded character in which many women can relate to. She has responsibilities. She has to um get over her fear in order to help her people. And a lot of players do resonate with that. I found this quote in which it resonated with me on the impact of Breath of the Wild, which says, Hyrule had become my escape. It provided me with a sanctuary for myself, allowing me to interrupt the pain and anxiety with comfort and peace. The hopelessness and defeat with courage and optimism. And the more time I spent there, the more therapeutic it became. The more I got to know Hyrule, the more it had to teach me. Thank you.